Welcome to this short presentation of the CoBRA scheme, Community Battery Recycling Alliance. My name is Mark Hatwood, co-creator of the scheme, and I just want to take you through a few bits and pieces which you'll need to know about the safety regulations and some of the pieces in the pack. But first I want to start by thanking you very much for coming forward. The work you're doing is very important to the environment, of course, helping the council and your communities in their clean-up campaign, so thank you very much indeed. This presentation is cut into easily accessible sections so you can revisit it again if you need to. Please watch it first in its entirety, as we'll ask you to sign a form later to say you've done that. But for now, let's crack on with the show. You've been given an info pack which contains all the documents we're going to go through now. If for any reason you don't have that, please do get a copy of it now before we continue, as you'll need it as we look into each part of it. Okay, before we start, I want to go over a little health and safety with you. In the UK, batteries are considered hazardous. It's because they have nickel, cadmium, mercury in them, but also 1% of all batteries are lithium, which in very rare cases can cause short and cause a fire. In the history of the CoBRA scheme, this has never happened, and it is a very seldom occurrence, but we do need to make you aware of the risks. Don't park in direct sunlight, for example, when you've got your consignment on board. Try not to drive over any excessively bumpy ground. Basically common sense. But in the unlikely event of anything happening, don't try and deal with it yourself. As well as the battery collection receptacle, you've been given a transport box. Inside the receptacle is a plastic liner, and your batteries need to be moved from the plastic liner in there into the transport box in the liner. First of all, make sure that you secure the liner by tying it in a knot so the batteries don't move around. Then transport them over into the transport box by lifting them over carefully, making sure you don't hurt yourself. Then close the lid of the transport box, and all you need to do now is reline the battery collection receptacle with one of the liners you've been provided with. Remember, when moving the batteries, they are heavy, so if you do find them too heavy to lift safely, then ask somebody at the location to help you with them. The CoBRA scheme works by people like yourself transporting batteries on behalf of their communities to a bulking up centre, and for this movement we need consignment notes. The consignment notes are complicated in a lot of ways, which is why we've pre-filled them out for you. So we're going to go through that process in a minute just to check the forms and make sure everything is pre-filled out for you. If for any reason they're not, please contact your council and get these changed. There should be 3 copies for you: a white, a gold and a blue copy, and each one should be variously numbered the same way. In section A is the notification details. Section A2 should have the name of your location on it, and in A4 the name of the centre that you've chosen to take your batteries to. In part B, the only section that's important for you here to know about is the weight in quantity. The box holds about 25 kilos, so if it's full, you'll of course put in 25 kilos. If it's any less than that, then you need to sort of estimate approximately how much is in there. In part C of the form is where you need to write in the date and time of your pickup and then sign the form. And lastly, in part E, should also in E2 have your registration number there and your volunteer's name across from that. The last thing you need to do is hand over these forms to the collection centre. They will then themselves time and date your arrival and sign and date it at the bottom as well. The only exclusion to this is that if your location is registered with the Environment Agency, in that case, they will need to retain the white copy of the form. If you're unsure about this, then it's very easy to find out by looking at the code on the top in A1. If it starts with EXE, it means it's exempt, and therefore your location doesn't need to withhold this, and all three parts of the form can be given to the collection centre. Okay, onto the posters. You should have a batch of these being given to you in your starter pack. All you need to add is the name of your location on the form right here. If you wish to, you can also add at the bottom your name and your contact details, telephone number, email if you wish, but that is optional. Right, we're just going to go over now the premises owner letter. You should have one of these in your pack as well. It's quite straightforward. This is something you will give to the owner of your location so that they can change the fire risk and assessment form in their premises. In the unlikely event of fire, the fire service do need to know that batteries are located on the premises because they'll deal with a fire in a very different way. So this just makes the location manager aware of this, and they'll just add it to their form. It also describes the consignment notes, which we've just gone through, and lastly where they can get more information. They can contact us, they can contact your council, or even ask you, maybe you have the answer to it, but either way they should be able to get that from somebody in the loop. And finally, the last thing in your starter pack will be this volunteer agreement, which we'd like you to read through carefully so you understand all the ramifications of your valuable work. Once we have the signature of that, we can then activate your location and put it on your locations map on the website. You are covered for all insurances on the site while you're there. However, this doesn't cover you for the transport in your car, so we do suggest that you contact your insurance company and let them know. So there it is. I hope the presentation was short and sweet for you. If you have any questions, do let your council staff know or contact us and we'll do everything we can to answer those questions for you. So all it takes for you to do is to sign your volunteer consignment form and get that off to us, and we'll get you updated on the website. Many thanks again.